In the shadows of Richard Cottingham's past, a chilling mystery looms. A convicted murderer with a mysterious confession of countless perfect murders. Cottingham's sinister secrets defy the passage of time. As investigators and the ghosts of his victims draw nearer, the suspense builds in a dark tale of justice pursued, revealing horrors concealed for decades. This video features an interview with a convicted individual responsible for the deaths of more than 20 women. Richard Cottingham committed the murders of at least 18 young women and girls in the New York and New Jersey regions during the period spanning from 1967 to 1980. He earned the names the New York Ripper, the Torso Killer, and the Times Square Killer due to his conviction for 3 murders that took place in those areas, which involved acts of disfigurement. It wasn't until 1981 and 1982 that law enforcement authorities began to connect him to any of these crimes. Cottingham's victims were scattered across different locations, and he took precautions to ensure that he did not kill or dispose of any of them in identical ways.
Yeah. See, there's also cases that if I tell you the truth, you'll think I'm lying.
Like what? What does that mean?
I think I told you once before that I, just by but just by happenstance, you can kill somebody one way and it'll appear to be a different way. And some of the people that you will say were asphyxiated weren't asphyxiated. I never can pronounce that word.
Asphyxiated.
Asphyxiated. I can't say it. I don't know why. I can't say that word.
Strangled, choked, whatever. Smothered.
But, and if I tell you the truth how they really were, you're going to say full shit. Because the death certificate is going to say a different way.
Okay. So how would they?
They would drown.
How? How would a drowning not look like a drowning?
Because if you drop a body in the summer, in the heat, all the water must evaporate from the body if the body's not found right away. So now there's no water in the lungs or anything anymore. And the only reason I read it, some reports in paper, a couple of times, this girl was sophisticated, and I didn't know. And they didn't realize they would drown.
I can't speak to how exact the science of autopsies were back in the 60s or 70s, so
I bet you even now they couldn't tell.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not.
You leave a body out where it starts to decay, after 2 or 3 days, you can't tell it was drowned. Because there's no water in the lungs. Everything's collapsed already.
We don't have that, well, at least here in Bergen County, we don't really have that many decaying bodies like that, or unsolved, I should say. Not many of our cold cases have anything to do with decaying bodies. So I don't know that that's the case of anything that's here in Bergen. I can't speak to any of the other counties.
Well, I can tell you for a fact, it is here in Bergen.
I don't remember any of them that are, certainly not, there's...
Well, I'm just using that word, but I'm saying if it's in the summer and it's left in the heat, I'm assuming what happens is all the water dries up. So there is no water in the lungs that would determine, and it would be the farthest thing you would think you find them in a lot, you wouldn't ever even think about drowning.
What would make you drown somebody and then bring them back in the car? Why would you leave them in the water?
Because they weren't drowned.
Or bathtub, whatever, right? So,
you got to get them out of the bathtub, don't you?
Yeah, I guess it depends where you are.
Right. Like I said, I did things in all different ways. But I told you that in the very beginning.
You did tell me that. I remember. You did tell me that at the very beginning.
Because I always said, this is the perfect murder. I mean, they can't tell, obviously. Then, when I thought about it, I said, well, the heat dries everything up. The body's all dry. Why would you think somebody's drowned? The only way to tell is water in the lungs. So if it's, the lungs are clapped, you think just smothered. And there are cases right here
Well, you have to enlighten me then, so I can look at them.
That's down the line.
You have to enlighten me, because I don't know that I believe.
But that's what, I know. But that's why I'm saying, if I tell you the truth, you'll think I'm lying, so I can tell you a lie and you'll think I'm telling the truth.
Not at all, not at all. Yeah, I need you to tell me what you remember, that's all. I mean, and if it marries up to something, it marries up to something. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. Or, you know. You know?
No.
So what are you thinking? What do you, when you keep saying, well, we come to an agreement, what is it in the agreement what does that mean? Tell me what that means in your mind. Besides the obvious that I know already, which is you're looking for it not to get back to your children.
Well, that's the main thing.
Cottingham's confirmed killings resulted in 9 convictions and an additional 8 confessions under non-prosecution agreements, leading to multiple life sentences in New Jersey prisons. In 2009, several decades after his initial 5 murder convictions, Cottingham disclosed to a journalist that he had committed a minimum of 80 to 100 perfect murders of women in various regions of the United States. In April 2021, Cottingham confessed to an unsolved 1974 double homicide in Montvale, which had been one of New Jersey's most notorious cold cases. The confession was obtained by Anzalotti shortly before his retirement and was facilitated by Vronsky and Jennifer Weiss. Jennifer Weiss is the daughter of Dita Gudarzi, one of Cottingham's later victims. Vronsky and Weiss had been meeting with Cottingham in prison since the spring of 2017, counseling him to make the confession. In March 2023, Anzalotti managed to obtain another confession from Cottingham, this time regarding the murder of a 17-year-old who had disappeared in January 1967. In a chilling saga of crime and confessions, the story of Richard Cottingham unfolds. With 9 convictions and a shocking admission of 80 to 100 perfect murders, Cottingham's dark legacy spans decades. His unexpected confessions, guided by a journalist, victims' family members, and detectives, have undone some of New Jersey's most baffling cold cases. The sinister narrative of a remorseless serial killer, once hidden, now comes to light, reminding us of the complicated and relentless pursuit of justice that continues to fascinate both true crime enthusiasts and investigators alike. In a quiet town, a single 911 call sets off a chain of events that will shatter lives forever. As the truth remains hidden in the shadows, an innocent man's fate hangs in the balance, and the echoes of that fateful day refuse to fade. This video presents an interview with an individual whose 911 call had tragic consequences, as it resulted in an innocent man being shot by the police. The incident occurred at a Walmart store in Beaver Creek, Ohio, where Ronald Ritchie and his wife observed John Crawford III, who they believed was carrying an assault rifle. Ritchie promptly dialed 911, reporting that Crawford was supposedly pointing the firearm at other shoppers. In response to what they perceived as an active shooter situation, law enforcement officers arrived quickly on the scene. When a visibly scared Crawford did not immediately obey orders to drop the weapon, the police discharged 2 rounds, ultimately leading to Crawford's death shortly after that.
You didn't see him actually take a magazine out, but you heard from experience what you thought were clicking sounds associated with a magazine being loaded.
Correct.
And you even went to the point that, from your recollection, you thought it was a 30-round magazine.
Correct. Well, the magazine that looks like that drops below is automatically 30 rounds. They come in 10 and 30.
Below what again? I'm sorry.
Below the
pistol grip?
No, below the magwell.
Oh, below the magwell. So you even know that, right? The magazine that drops lower could be a higher capacity magazine.
Correct.
All right.
10 mag would stay flush with it.
All right. So we're to the point where you're still watching what he's doing. First family passes by, he's waving the gun around. You don't think that the second family saw the gun by their reaction?
No, not at all. I mean, even when I was on the phone in the store, it didn't look like they saw him. They were just kind of like, just shopping.
Okay. And it was clear to you that the police were on their way. I
Oh,
just
yes.
want to reiterate again, why did you think it was clear the police were on their way?
I mean, From the time I'm on the phone, she said, police have been dispatched, they are on their way. They're sending a couple units out.
Okay. Did you hear any audible indications that the police were coming?
Once they got to the store, I could hear the sirens coming up.
Okay.
Because there's a barrage of them, but...
Was it clear that there were police officers coming in that direction, or there was a police presence nearby?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It wasn't like a faint siren, it was a fairly
No,
clear
it was
siren.
like right outside the door.
Okay.
Because we're right next to the garden center.
Is there any reason to believe that the suspect couldn't have heard those police sirens?
No.
He would have had to have heard them from
I was
where
farther
he
away from he was.
Okay, all right. So you said it was after you heard the sirens, and again, tell me if I'm wrong, it was roughly 45 seconds, then you saw the police enter the store, enter that particular area of the store.
From the time that I heard sirens, it was about 45 seconds until he was down.
Okay, all 45 seconds till he's down. Okay,
right.
Thank you for correcting me. And you heard it, and I believe Dave asked you this, you heard him say, put it down, put it down. There wasn't a response, and 2 to 3 seconds later, pop, pop, indicating that two rounds were fired.
Correct.
Richie and his wife, April, chose not to speak publicly following their interview with the local newspaper. Meanwhile, Crawford's family considered pursuing legal action against Richie, alleging he deliberately made a false alarm. However, it's worth noting that Richie was never formally charged with any crime in connection with the incident. In the serene setting of Citrus County, where calm lakeside homes create a peaceful atmosphere, a perplexing and unsettling story began. It all started when Denise Hallowell, a devoted mother, was discovered lifeless with a shocking axe injury to her head. However, what followed was a gripping journey through a maze of lies, inconsistencies, and, eventually, a surprising confession that changed the life of a young man named Carlos Hallowell forever. Carlos Hallowell, a teenager aged 17 hailing from Citrus County, found himself at the police headquarters following an immediate 911 call placed at 6:15 p.m.
Citrus 911, what is the address of the emergency? 4419 Southwest 4th. I need someone here immediately right now. Okay, tell me exactly what's happening. Okay, oh my God. Okay.
He reported a distressing situation. His mother, Denise Hallowell, was found in her bed with an axe injury.
Just stay on the line with me, okay? Okay.
Emergency responders arrived to find Carlos deeply distressed. His mother was unresponsive and was pronounced lifeless. At 6:50 p.m., Denise Hallowell adopted Carlos from Guatemala in 2006 when he was just 4 years old, raising him as a single parent. Fast forward to July 13, 2019, when both of them attended a family friend's funeral in St. Petersburg. Upon returning to their secluded lakeside house, they shared apple pie in the kitchen before taking afternoon naps. 3 hours later, Carlos made a 911 call as he found Denise motionless on her bed, face down. The case is under investigation. In their pursuit of finding justice for Denise Hallowell, the police are working diligently to collect evidence before potential leads diminish.
From the dogs barking to finding them. And once I found my mom, I did panic. Like really bad. Because mom's there, panicked, and just grabbed the one that's facing the front door. I grabbed the phone and I grabbed the thing. And it was up there. I kneeled back there. I used to go to it, but it ended up being back. I thought that and then I called either before or after.
You know why somebody threw cameras and stuff on?
Well, of course, to hide it, but I completely panicked. I mean, okay. I remember being outside at the shed and grabbing the axe. But other than that, that's which is why I also panicked, because I remember the last thing I did was grab the axe.
There's no doubt that you did. It's just why.
Right, I definitely say that. I want to know that too, because I don't remember any argument whatsoever. Because I remember sharpening the axe, and then something's in the back of her head.
So did you do right after when you sharpened the axe, you walked in the house with that right afterwards? I still need to know, because I gotta be definite with this. I don't like, you can't.
I don't have an exact memory of it, so I don't want to say.
I mean, best your memory.
Best of my memory, walked in the house with the axe, with not the intent of doing that. I don't know if something was said. Because usually I try to talk to her. I'll say, hey mom, get up. We gotta go to work. Or hey mom, we gotta do something. So I don't know if I did that and she made a mark and kind of pushed me over the edge, or if it just all played through.
So if you hit her with the axe, is that when you call 911 right after?
Immediately.
Right after you hit her?
Right after I went, bam, phone, 911, checked her breathing, pulse. But as soon as I saw blood running through her, I didn't think I could do it. So then it was just.
Carlos Hallowell faced charges for his unsettling crime. Despite being ineligible for the death penalty due to his age, he was tried as an adult. In July 2021, Carlos Hallowell was convicted and received a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. In the tragic case of Carlos Hallowell, a once vulnerable teenager who became a prime suspect in the case of his adoptive mother, Denise, justice was served with a life sentence without the possibility of parole. As the investigation unfolded, it revealed a complex web of deception, shifting narratives, and, ultimately, a chilling confession. Carlos's transition from a grieving son to a convicted criminal left both investigators and observers grappling with the inexplicable motive behind this horrific crime. The case serves as a stark reminder of the profound depths of human behavior and the relentless pursuit of truth by law enforcement in the face of adversity. In a tale of love, jealousy, and a fatal clash of emotions, Rachel Wade's life took a dramatic and tragic turn. On a fateful night in Pinellas Park, Florida, the dynamics of a love triangle would push her to the brink, leading to a courtroom battle that would forever alter her destiny. On the evening of April 14, 2009, in Pinellas Park, Florida, Rachel Wade anxiously anticipated the arrival of her former boyfriend and occasional lover, Joshua Camacho. When Joshua failed to appear, Rachel decided to take her dog for a walk. Rachel reported hearing a vehicle honking and someone shouting for her to stay away from Joshua, which instilled a deep sense of fear. As a precaution, Rachel contacted another ex-boyfriend, Javier, who lived near Joshua's residence. Before leaving her house, Rachel claimed to have grabbed a steak knife for self-defense. Around 11 p.m., while en route to Javier's house, Rachel drove past Joshua's residence and noticed Sarah Ludeman, Joshua's new romantic interest, had parked her vehicle outside. This led to a series of messages being exchanged between Rachel and Joshua. Around midnight, Joshua's sister asked Sarah for a ride to McDonald's. During the drive, Sarah spotted her friend Ashley waiting at a stop sign. Sarah rolled down her window to greet Ashley, but Ashley quickly sensed that Sarah was upset and furious. Sarah mentioned the text messages exchanged between Rachel and Joshua, prompting Ashley to inform Sarah that she had seen Rachel at Javier's house, which was close to Joshua's residence. This information led Sarah to confront Rachel, and she began driving towards Javier's place. While on the way, Rachel and Sarah exchanged messages. Rachel eventually called Sarah and repeatedly yelled, "I intend to harm you, you and your boyfriend." These threats didn't appear to have much impact on Sarah, likely because of the history of this intense love triangle. Just 8 months prior, on August 29, 2008, Sarah had received remarkably similar threats on her voicemail.
Next message.
Please tell me, Sarah, why you would be a dumb enough to put a brand new picture of you and Josh at the beach. Seriously, I told you to watch back and not to chill with him. Now you're mine, and I'm guaranteeing you I'm going to murder you. I'm letting you know that now, because you know what? Josh might have played me, but I'm going to play your ass out too. Watch. You're a fat shit. I'm going to kill you. I swear on my life. Watch out the window when I get off work tonight, you dumb.
End of message. Next message.
It's so funny how you talk and you want to sit there and say that my man was at your house. Then tell me what he was wearing tonight, Sarah. You're dumb for real. If lying, I'm going to find you and I'm going to beat you. If you're not lying, I'm going to find you and beat you, okay? You keep playing games. You're a pathetic little bitch and you're a little girl. Honestly, what do you have that's going for you that Josh wants you over me for? I got a job, have my own place. What? Seriously? He could get anything he wants from me. Anything, not to mention that I look probably 10 times better than you. And you run your mouth. You still got your mommy and daddy's curfew, for God's sake. Why do you run your mouth and why are you that pathetic? Please do leave shit on your MySpace because that's old news just like you and him are. So keep talking, Sarah. You don't know when to stop. You haven't learned your lesson yet, but I'm going to teach you it. I'm telling you now. Keep with me, Sarah. You dumb, psychotic little bitch. And I'm telling you now, I'm going to show you psycho. Keep with me. You're with the wrong person and with the one thing that I care about. So keep going, Sarah. Play your game because I'm going to teach you how to grow up real quick.
Undeterred by Rachel's threats, Sarah continued on her path toward the confrontation at Javier's house. Upon arrival, Sarah witnessed Rachel conversing with Javier and their mutual friend, Dustin Grimes. While witnesses claimed that Sarah stayed inside her vehicle and was attacked by Rachel before exiting it, Rachel Wade testified differently. According to Rachel, when Sarah arrived at Javier's house, instead of parking, she drove directly at her. Sarah stopped just a few feet away and emerged from her minivan, fists swinging. Feeling genuinely threatened, Rachel initially brandished the knife she had for self-defense, hoping to intimidate Sarah. However, Sarah remained unafraid. A physical altercation ensued, with Rachel struggling against Sarah for several moments, accidentally hitting Sarah multiple times when she raised her arms too quickly. Janet, a friend of Sarah's, intervened and pulled Rachel away. Upon realizing that Sarah had been wounded, Janet called Sarah's boyfriend, Josh Camacho, and her father, who rushed to her aid. Sarah was transported to the hospital, but tragically succumbed to her injuries. The knife directly damaged her heart and rendered it inoperable. Rachel was not arrested and interrogated by law enforcement until hours later, and as previously mentioned, her account appears to differ from that of several witnesses. This represents Rachel's version of events during the interrogation.
When you had it with you had it in the car with you, right? And you drove over to Javier's house. Why did you have it with you?
Yes, they said that they were going to find my car and follow me, and she threatened to kill me.
So are you telling me that you had it for some form of protection?
Yeah, because I know they're going to jump me. I know Josh's family. Josh has hit me before. Josh's brother threatened to hit me before.
At this juncture, Rachel remains unaware of the severity of Sarah's injuries and likely assumes that Sarah is still alive. This belief could significantly influence her perception of the potential consequences she may face, leading her to discuss the confrontation without the presence of an attorney. Furthermore, despite her intense feelings for Joshua, it becomes evident that Rachel immediately portrayed herself as a victim trapped and subjected to abuse in this situation. In doing so, she not only implicates the man she hit Sarah for, but also implicates his entire family, likely in an attempt to shield herself from potential repercussions. Remarkably, this unfolds within the initial seconds of the interrogation video.
And so I'm clear, I understand that Janet was, beating on you as well, but initially it's you and Sarah. Javier, Dustin were out in the street fighting with you guys at all. Josh wasn't there.
No, Josh was, well, I heard Josh screaming, as the cops were pulling up, I heard Josh was brother. As me and Sarah were done fighting, Josh called me and threatened me and said he was going to come shoot me with his gun.
Why?
Because of the fact that his sister called and said that we were fighting and that I hit her.
Was it the fact that
and
his
then
sister called and said that you stabbed her?
I don't know what she said to him. I guess because she said that I hit her and that I found Sarah. I don't know what she said.
When this is what I'm having a problem with. You're going to have to help me out with this, because when everybody got there, Sarah is laying in the middle of the street with a stab wound. How do you not see that?
I didn't get it. Janet came after me, she physically came after me and dragged me around his front yard. Mm-hmm. I couldn't see anything.
Okay.
I just didn't see, I saw Sarah sitting, on the edge of the seat of the front of the van,
mm-hmm.
and she was screaming at Janet to get in the car, and then after that, Janet just came after me. She would not stop. And Javier and Dustin kind of, followed us, trying to, intimidate her maybe to leave me alone, and
I went to dial 911, she knocked my phone out of my hands, and she just kept dragging me around the front yard. I couldn't see anything.
Well, I know you told me that you were upset and you just wanted this to be over because they have been harassing you, obviously. Was tonight kind of just the final straw? Is that what the deal was?
I didn't want anything to do with any of them. Mm-hmm. I didn't want them to call me anymore.
But you brought a knife with you for a reason.
Because they said they were going to follow me to my apartment.
But you also said that you had had enough of it, and when I asked you why you just didn't run into the house when they come pulling up in a van, your response to me was, what?
I don't know. I'm tired of running and being scared. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't. My parents did not raise me that way.
Okay? I know that, but you did tonight.
I did not have any intention on stabbing her.
You had the knife in your hand. How do you think that blade came in contact with her? You said she was trying to hit you.
Trying to hit her back.
Okay, well, how do you hit somebody with a knife in your hand? You're going to have to show me. So
I was just swinging at her. I just had it, and I was swinging at her. She kept hitting me, and I just started swinging back.
With the knife?
With both hands.
Okay. Show me how were you overhand, or was it like
both,
this, or what?
Everywhere.
You just all over.
Because that's all she was doing to me, and I saw both of the other girls coming after me.
Following the interrogation, Rachel Wade was formally charged with her crime and was promptly booked into the Pinellas County Jail with a bond set at $500,000. Rachel's trial commenced on July 20th, 2010. The prosecution argued that the volatile escalation of the love triangle was the primary motivation behind the incident. They presented numerous instances in which Rachel had threatened Sarah through social media, text messages, and voice messages. Additionally, the prosecution relied on several witness statements contradicting Rachel's version of events. Joshua Camacho, Janet Camacho, an unnamed friend, and Dustin Grimes all testified on behalf of the prosecution, offering their perspective on the case. This is their account of the events. After stopping at the stop sign and receiving advice from her friend Ashley that Rachel was at Javier's house, Sarah continued toward Javier's residence. Upon arrival, all three occupants of Sarah's van could see Rachel, Javier, and Dustin standing on Javier's front lawn near the front of Rachel's car. Sarah brought her van to a slow stop, positioning it about 10 feet away from Rachel's vehicle. However, before Sarah could fully remove her keys from the ignition and exit through her door, Rachel had already circled around the front of Sarah's van and reached Sarah's door. As Sarah slid off her seat to exit, Rachel began swinging at her. When Janet noticed the fight breaking out, she swiftly left her side of the vehicle, removing her sandal to knock the knife out of Rachel's hand. Before Janet could engage with Rachel, she heard Rachel laughing and uttering profanities about Sarah and Josh. Janet then attempted to hit Rachel and started pulling her hair until Rachel began repeatedly yelling, "I'm done!" Upon Janet's retreat back to the vehicle, she noticed her unnamed friend sitting by Sarah's body lying on the road. Janet was then informed about Sarah's condition and immediately attacked Rachel again. Rachel, still holding the knife, did not resist Janet's actions. Janet retreated once more. During her testimony, Janet mentioned that Sarah had already begun foaming at the mouth when she reached her.
Tell the jury what you saw.
Sarah was on the floor, stabbed, foaming.
All right, now you say on the floor, do you mean the road or do you mean on the floor of the car?
No, she was on the road.
Okay. Where was
she? Was with Sarah the whole time.
Now you mentioned at this point, Sarah's actually foaming at her mouth. Now you describe Sarah as one of the family, a close friend. I imagine you see something like that, it's gonna affect you, am I right?
Yes.
What do you do once you realize your close friend, part of your family, has been stabbed and is on the ground?
I approached Rachel again and told her that she has to, are you serious? You actually stabbed her? I approached her.
Now tell me this, as you're approaching Rachel, are you yelling?
Yes.
As you yell at Rachel, are you serious? You stabbed her.
Objection, counsel testifying.
Thank you. As you're approaching Rachel and you yell to her, are you serious? You stabbed her. Tell the jury Rachel Wade's reaction to that comment.
She said she didn't care. She started laughing and turned around and was walking off to Javier's house.
Immediately after the incident, Janet called Joshua and the police. In the following moments, witnesses observed Rachel laughing as she threw the weapon over Javier's fence. Shortly afterward, Rachel was taken into custody. Rachel's defense team maintained a self-defense claim throughout the trial and sought to influence the jury by invoking the stand your ground law. Her attorney, Jay Hebert, also focused on multiple incidents when Sarah and her friends allegedly ganged up on Rachel. He mentioned an incident at Applebee's where Sarah knocked a tray of food out of Rachel's hands, and another occasion during a karaoke event where Sarah and her friends sang a mocking song, laughed at Rachel, and made her feel uncomfortable. Despite the defense's efforts to portray Sarah Ludeman as a bully and provocateur, emphasizing that Sarah's size made her a substantial threat to Rachel, the jury ultimately sided with the prosecution. They found the evidence overwhelmingly in favor of the prosecution's case. On September 3, 2010, Rachel Wade was found guilty and subsequently sentenced to 27 years in prison. She is currently serving her sentence at the Lowell Correctional Institution, which is situated in Marion County, Florida. In a compelling and unsettling story, we'll explore the intertwined lives of Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Nicholas Godejohn. Their tale is one of obsession, manipulation, and a shocking act that would captivate the nation. Join us as we delve into this puzzling narrative where reality blurs with trickery, revealing the complexities of human nature and the pursuit of an unconventional form of escape. This individual is Nicholas Godejohn, born in Wisconsin, who received an early diagnosis of having a below-average IQ and autism spectrum disorder. From a young age, Nicholas yearned for social interaction, but his condition made him socially inept, leading to difficulties in understanding social cues. When he became interested in something, he would display intense fixation on it, sometimes creating multiple personalities. These challenges kept him mostly at home, with his mother as his primary caregiver, even into his 20s.
I remember seeing one night, it was at 9 o'clock at nighttime. I was in my grandma's house. I just remember looking in the mirror and I saw a glimpse of something I didn't recognize in my eye. It was just a shade, and it went away. It was almost like something was trying to tell me, oh yeah, I'm there. You've created me, I'm there. Part of me wanted to come out for a very long time, and the very first opportunity it got, it didn't waste any time in basically trying to make an example out of somebody, unfortunately. I usually wake up to every day is not there. It's a completely different person.
In the following years, Nicholas decided to set up an online dating profile, persisting in his quest to find the ideal partner. It was during this time that he crossed paths with Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and their connection bloomed quickly. Gypsy shared numerous interests and traits with Nicholas. Gypsy even had a persona she referred to as Ruby, representing a different side of her personality. In their online interactions, the two of them had a unique dynamic, using disturbing terms for each other. They eventually met in 2015, and it was during this meeting that Gypsy chose to confide in Nicholas about her secret.
Just because we do bad things doesn't mean that other people don't love us. Doesn't mean that your mom doesn't love you.
Look, I'm gonna tell you this, but please don't think I did it because I did anything to my mom because I didn't. Look, Nick and my mom didn't get along very good.
Okay.
But that's all I know.
Okay. So why do you think Nick did this?
I didn't say he did.
Sweetheart, I already know. I've already talked to people, okay? And right now?
He said he hated my mom, but because my mom didn't want us to be together. But I was getting on my mom's nerves. Her nerve medicine was running out. Her patience was getting very thin for me, sticking up for him every time.
Good job, proud of you. You did a good job.
And so she asked me to stay away from him, and I promised her I would.
Okay.
But then she just said, well, if you want to go, go. I guess out of love she did that.
Okay.
Because she wanted me to be happy.
So why did this happen to your mom? What was the reason for it?
I don't know. All I know is that...
Why didn't it hurt her? Sweetheart, what was his reason behind this? And we're back to that why.
I can't see why. He knows I love my mom. He knows that she's the most important thing to me.
So why do you think he did this to her?
He only said something to me that he said that it's us against the world and that he's gonna protect me no matter what, and that we were gonna get married and everything and nothing was gonna stop us.
Okay, even your mom. So he took care of that, didn't he?
What do you mean? I don't think he would ever hurt her. I mean, he's very sweet. He's very kind. I mean, he doesn't like police that much. He's kind of a radicalist, I guess you would call it.
Okay.
But,
Sweetheart, your mom loves you very much. So we're not going to go off on what Nick believes and what he doesn't believe. Okay? But we're going to start talking about why Nick did this to your mom. And you know why he did this. Don't let your friends down. Don't let those ones that still are there and got your back and still love you, don't let them down. Don't do that to them. Because every one of them still love you. Let's not do that to them. I don't want to do that to them.
I honestly would never hurt my mom, but I'm not.
But why did Nick hurt her? Now's the time to be truthful, sweetheart. No more lies.
It's because he wanted me to himself.
Okay.
Because my mom kept getting in the way of us being together.
Sure she did. She didn't like Nick. She didn't want her little baby girl to grow up. She wanted to keep her little baby girl young, didn't she?
She said that there was something dangerous about him. She had a way of reading people.
Okay.
And she said that he seems like the head in a closet type of person the kind that murders and kills and
your mom was right.
Jeffrey Dahmer kind of person.
You think your mom was right? You know your mom was right. You hit it right on the nail on the head, sweetheart. You know your mom was right when she said that. You should know what? Okay. And how should you have listened to her?
I should have broke up with him.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I lied to you from the beginning. I'll tell you the truth all now.
Okay. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I love him so much, but maybe he can't help now.
Okay.
For his silent ways.
Maybe he can.
He killed my mom.
He killed your mom?
Yes, I know it.
How did he do that?
He was supposed to come and visit me.
Okay.
And I thought we were gonna go outside and we're just gonna sit together for a while on the porch. And
at your mom's house?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he came inside and he started walking to my mom's room, and I told him that he needed to go outside. We need to go outside.
What was your mom doing at that point? Was she asleep or
She
awake?
was asleep, and I got up to use the restroom. And at that point, he had put me in the bathroom, and he had locked the door.
Okay.
And he went to my mom's room, and I heard her cry. I heard him scream for my name.
You heard your mom crying? You heard your mom crying? And you heard your mom calling out your name?
I started to scream.
She was screaming.
And I was in shock. And then he took me to my bedroom. And he made me take off all my toys off the bed.
So he made you take all your toys off your bed? Okay.
Me.
And he hurt you?
And then after he was finished, he made me grab my bag. And
grab your bag?
Grab my bag to pack stuff.
Okay. What was in the backpack?
Stuff like soap and things.
Nicholas was charged with first-degree murder, and the case proceeded to trial. During the trial, prosecutors sought to portray him as a person with disturbing sexual inclinations who had an intent to end Dee Dee's life. The defense argued that Nicholas's mental state did not meet the criteria for a first-degree murder charge. In the end, Nicholas was found guilty and received a life sentence without the possibility of parole. Gypsy, on the other hand, was convicted of second-degree murder and received a 10-year sentence for her involvement in the crime. After Gypsy's guilty plea, the prosecutor stated that he could have pursued a first-degree murder conviction, which would have meant a life sentence for her. However, considering Gypsy's history and the circumstances surrounding her relationship with her mother, the prosecution agreed to a lesser charge as they believed it was a more reasonable outcome, given the complexities of her situation. In the end, the legal proceedings surrounding this complex case revealed a web of manipulation, desperation, and tragedy. Nicholas and Gypsy's involvement in a deeply troubling series of events sheds light on the many layers of human behavior, vulnerability, and the consequences that can stem from a toxic relationship. In the world of real-life mysteries, two baffling cases emerge. One revolves around Edwin, an everyday person with a hidden secret. The other focuses on Michael Dixon's trial, where a disappearance leads to a web of hidden truths. Both stories involve chance encounters, life-changing decisions, and a relentless quest for justice. Dishonesty, regret, and surprising confessions blur the lines between right and wrong, leaving us with more questions than answers. Get ready for a compelling journey that keeps you guessing throughout.
Dispatch, how can I help you?
Hi. I'm not sure if this is quite the right number to call. Last night I got home from the bars with my girlfriend. She got upset at me and ran off. And I chased her and wasn't able to find her, and I still haven't heard from her. Her phone's off. I called all her family and they haven't heard from her, so I'm wondering what you recommend I do.
Meet Kaylee Sawyer. In July 2016, she eagerly awaited a bachelorette party with her friends. She celebrated with them until late at night, after which she phoned her boyfriend Cameron seeking a ride home. Cameron picked her up, but their journey was spoiled by a heated argument. Upon reaching their apartment, Cameron went inside while Kaylee remained in the car, still upset from their exchange. Approximately 10 minutes later, he returned outside to check on her, only to find that she had disappeared.
Yeah, she was mad at me, so I walked inside and told her to come meet me in there when she's like, calm down. And then I went back out in 10 minutes and she was gone. And I called her a few times and she said she was walking down the street. And then I guess she said her phone was about to die. And then I couldn't get a hold of her after that. I haven't heard from her since.
48 hours later, a police officer named Isabel Laura visited the local police station. She had a troubling revelation to share. Her husband, Edwin Lara, had confessed to taking the life of Kaylee Sawyer. Edwin, who was employed as a security guard at a nearby college, had returned home the previous night, displaying unusual and unusually quiet behavior. Given the tension in their marriage, Isabel chose not to investigate his odd behavior. However, the next morning, Edwin confronted his wife and revealed the shocking truth.
About 10 o'clock at night, we went down to Kenny and Ryan's. We was down there until about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Who was down there?
Me, his old lady, my daughter, and me. My daughter was asleep in the truck the whole time. And then we went back up to the house. And Jimmy just come out and started, well, at first he didn't come out, he didn't hear us. He must have been asleep or something. My daughter went up to the bathroom, and the next thing I know, here he comes out with a gun. And he told me that I needed to get out of the house, this, that, and another, and I told him as soon as my daughter got out of the bathroom that I would leave, and he said, no, Melody wasn't leaving. And I started up the steps, and he had the gun and pointed at me, and we had a struggle.
In the kitchen?
Next thing I know, the gun went off.
Why did he say that she wasn't leaving?
He didn't say.
Where was she at when the shooting happened?
In the bathroom.
What did she say when she came out?
She just lost it because she seen blood everywhere.
Okay. Were you drinking?
No.
Were you under the influence of any drugs when it happened? Be honest.
Yes.
What were you using?
Meth.
Okay. When did you use meth? So when did you clean up the kitchen? At what point did you clean up the kitchen?
Same night.
So after you used the black cart, did you load him up on the cart yourself, or did your daughter help?
No, she didn't help.
Okay.
I told her to go to the basement. She went to sleep.
Okay. And then from that point, you put him on the black cart, you wheel him down the steps, you wheel him over to the burn pile, you just dump him off into the burn pile?
I left him on the sled and just set it there and covered it up with some old branches.
Who did you tell that you did this? Or that this happened, I guess you could say. I know you told Kenny, your daughter knew you did it. Who else?
That's it.
I know there's other people because other people's talking. Who else did you tell? Mike, here's the deal, buddy. Don't lie now, okay? You're being very, very honest. You're being very good. Don't start lying, okay? That's when things go sideways.
I told my stepdad.
And your stepdad is who?
Frank.
Frank. Seymour?
No, Specie.
What's the last name?
Specie, S-P-E-C-I-E.
Okay, where's he live at?
With my mom.
On Sand Creek. Okay. So Frank knows. Who else knows?
I believe that's all I told him.
Okay. All right. So you guys, let me make sure I get this right. Okay. So about 10 o'clock on the 5th, you go to Kenneth Amorine's. Your daughter's asleep out in the truck. You leave about 4 a.m. You arrive back at the house between 4 and 4:30 to the house. She goes in to go to the bathroom. He comes out with a shotgun. And he says, get the hell off of his property. Holding a shotgun on you. Did he say anything to you other than that?
No.
He just said, get the hell out.
Yep. I tried.
And you told him what?
I just tried talking to him like I usually did.
Had he ever pulled a gun on you before?
Several times.
Okay. Did you fear that he was going to shoot you?
That night, yeah, I just had a weird...
And what time in the morning was that again? On the 6th?
About 5:30.
5:30. 5:30. And how did you get him in the house? How did you guys end up in the house?
He was already in the house. I unlocked the door with my key and we went in.
Did he have the gun on you at that point? He had the gun down?
He wasn't. When I first went in the house, he wasn't even up.
I thought you said that he came out and met you outside. He didn't meet you outside?
No, in the house.
So he met you at the door, kind of. No?
We met us. My daughter went to the bathroom. I unlocked the door, let her in. She went to the bathroom, and while she was in there, she must have made noise or something, and he heard, and then that's when he come out with his gun.
Did he know it was you?
Mm-hmm. I'm the only one that's got a key.
Okay. And he said what to you?
He told me to get the hell off the property. I wasn't welcome there anymore.
Okay. And then did he have the gun pointed at you?
Yes.
Did he say he was going to kill you? Did he just have the gun pointed at you and tell you to get the hell off the property?
He told me that he was going to kill me.
How did he say it?
He told me if I didn't get off his property, he was going to kill me.
What was the fight about? What was the argument about? Was it about your daughter?
No.
Was it about your daughter? You said it was about your daughter. You didn't want her to go, or he didn't want her to go with you. Why?
He just told me to get off of the property, and I told him I'd go wait till my daughter, and he said no, I wasn't.
And that's when you guys were in the kitchen, and she comes out of the bathroom, and that's when the argument transpires?
Yep.
Was there anything prior to that? No?
Nothing.
Everything was fine up until that point.
So his hand was still on her when he got shot in the head.
Mm-hmm.
So why did he get the gun?
He had the gun when he walked out of his room.
When he walked out of the room. Did he know that the girl that you were going to take your daughter at the time, prior?
Because you guys just got there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In the trial, the prosecution's case against Michael would center on his awareness that James did not want him at his residence, emphasizing that James repeatedly demanded he leave before the fatal gunshot. The prosecution would also argue that the extent to which Michael attempted to cover up the crime indicates a more sinister intent beyond simply protecting his daughter. The following investigation would uncover his daughter's involvement in the disposal and cover-up of the body. However, she would negotiate a plea deal, resulting in a 9-year sentence for her role in the crime. Ultimately, Michael would be convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison. In the end, justice prevailed as Michael's trial unveiled the chilling truth behind his actions. Found guilty of murder, he faced a life sentence, while his daughter received a lesser term through a plea deal. This case highlights the relentless pursuit of truth by the legal system and the accountability it enforces even when covered by dishonesty. In a twist of lies and deadly secrets, one man fights against mounting proof. As the truth emerges, the fear of his guilt grows stronger, revealing a chilling story in the halls of justice. Today's case involves a man accused of causing the deaths of 2 individuals amidst a failed attempt at blackmail. Back in July 2018, authorities responded to the residence of Roosevelt and Janet Dixon, finding the elderly couple fatally shot. The absence of forced entry raised suspicions, particularly when the home security system's hard drive was found missing. Investigative attention soon centered on Federico Gondola, the handyman. Insights from the suspect's acquaintances revealed that Gondola had asked for assistance in relocating the bodies. Additionally, it surfaced that Gondola had allegedly tried to blackmail Roosevelt by asserting he'd uncovered prohibited material on his computer. When confronted, Roosevelt wielded a revolver, which Gondola seized and used, tragically resulting in their deaths.
Unfortunately, those acts or actions that you've done were easily traceable, track you down. You don't get what happened this morning by accident at your house, right?
I know.
So, just like I explained to you earlier, and he explained to you earlier, there's always 2 sides to the story. The one that we got is pretty good because I told you it's time-stamped. But I'm sure, I know for a fact that you have your own story. I know that for a fact already. It's if you're willing to release that story.
I don't have a story.
I want you to understand me. You know why? Because I can go. He taught me a lot. We could literally go minute by minute of what occurred July 9th, 2018. The day that you said was even crazy for you. You want to know why? Because that's going to be the day that you're never going to forget in your whole life. Whether you're at home, whether you're in jail, you will never forget that day ever. No matter what I say, what we do, that day is going to be imprinted like a timestamp in your brain and in your heart.
July 9th?
Forever. Forever. And when you might be confused because it was late, but it's going to be that day, hours before you met up with, so I can refresh your memory even more. That day, you're never going to forget. You know exactly what happened, when it happened. You know more detail than anyone could imagine. You made a decision that day to do something. It's clear and day. Where you messed up was, you didn't track your steps that well.
What steps? What are you talking about?
I already had told you. I want to repeat it, okay? I can repeat it.
For individuals unfamiliar with legal troubles, the detective's final attempt to highlight Gondola's cornered situation could potentially cause a breakdown. However, seasoned or more experienced individuals in criminal matters often remain unaffected by such tactics. They've likely encountered similar situations before and are less vulnerable to being swayed or affected by the pressure of being cornered, making this approach largely ineffective for them.
Your phone. Alright? Your phone is timestamped for every little thing you do.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. That's your phone, nobody else's phone. The vehicle that you drove, that's timestamped. Only you know where Mr. Roosevelt lives. The camera system, that's timestamped, which is awesome. Meeting locations, phone calls, I could go on and on, but I'm not going to tell you that. The idea is to get the story from you.
I have no story.
Because it boils down to this. All that he says boils down to one freaking thing that I said already. It boils down to you plan this hard, freaking cold-hearted murder, or your intentions were something else. Something went wrong that day, and them two ended up dead.
That's the one I think.
But I'm telling you, the way that you're acting, your answers compared to what we've told you, and we've told you more than we normally tell people. We don't have to do that. Everything comes back to the fact that you're a freaking stone freaking cold killer.
No.
And you know who's going to see that, right? You know who's going to ultimately see that? Everybody.
But I'm not. I wouldn't do something like that.
The world.
I wouldn't do something like that. You can't say that.
I just said it. And you know what? I'm going to prove it. I'm going to prove it.
I did not do anything like that.
Is there going to be anything in that house that is going to support you or support us?
I don't know what you mean.
What I'm saying is that is there anything in that house that A, perhaps doesn't belong to you, B, that there's something in that house that you might have used or touched during this incident? I mean, I could keep going. What if there's stuff in your house that belongs to Mr. Roosevelt? Is that possible?
No.
Okay. I guess we have to go baby steps or whatever. I really don't know. We have to go baby steps, but...
I can tell you, I'm done going baby steps with you.
I understand.
I am. And you know, ultimately, it's a person's decision. It's an individual decision which way we want to take this. Okay? Unfortunately, you're the one in that position, not me. Okay? And you can sit here and say 1,000,000 times, I don't know, wasn't me, but I can prove it. Alright?
Look, I don't mean to be rude, right? But this looks bad. Can I see a lawyer, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Gondola realizes the severity of his situation, but despite this delayed understanding, he requests legal counsel. Charged with premeditated murder, he awaits trial, knowing that the damage is irreversible. However, it has been determined that he won't face the death penalty. This decision marks a significant aspect of the legal proceedings, potentially shaping the course of Gondola's trial and eventual sentencing. Remember, it's your curiosity that fuels this channel. Keep exploring, stay inspired, and join us for more amazing content next time.